down. The Cowboys' Jason Witten is on the threshold of a couple remarkable tight end records. 6 catches away from 900 and 45 yards away from 10,000. For Dallas, their young and talented offensive line has been the key to their newfound ball control style of offense. And for Houston, after wins over Washington, Oakland, and Buffalo, today's game against the 3-1 Cowboys is definitely a step up in class.
It is Houston and Dallas. We've got the action for you in the 4th all-time inning between the Texans and the Cowboys. It's the NFL on CBS. It's week 5 of the NFL on CBS. We come to you from Arlington, Texas. The Texans and the Cowboys. And today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. The kickoff is next.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Moments away from the opening kick. Let's check in with Jenny DAL downstairs.
Well, Ian, these two teams are playing for the Texas Governor's Cup, which dates back to 1967 and the Houston Oilers. Now, the Texans and the Cowboys have only faced each other 4 times. Texans opening up their franchise back in 2002 with a win over the Cowboys. But these players, they know the importance of this game. This is not just a win, but it's bragging rights in Texas. The owners are friends, and as J.J. Watt said, Texas is football country. They're hoping that they can use the pride and environment in this stadium right here to their advantage. Ryan?
Forward progress out near midfield. It's an 8-yard pickup.
Now you can see the between the difference between weeks 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for Fitzpatrick. But you mentioned the fact that Foster was out and played barely in week 4. So obviously that's a big problem for this Texan offense.
Yeah.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. Toyota Care. Scheduled maintenance, no cost. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife. Fantastic shots at AT&T Stadium as we welcome you back inside. Dallas and Houston, no score. The Texans turned it over. NFL Today update. Let's head to New York. JB and Boomer.
Boomer beginning to be an Eagles habit. They're at it again this week. Here comes James Casey. He's going to block the punt of Johnny Hecker. And Chris Maragos is going to pick it up, a 10-yard touchdown return for the Eagles 2 weeks in a row. The way they start the game, tremendous on special teams. Ian, Dan, and Jenny.
And now Jackson on the sideline.
Texans have still not given up any first quarter points this season. No score as we go to the second. You're watching the NFL on CBS. JB and Boomer.
Falcons answer the Giants. Yeah, that's how you respond to a touchdown. You hand it to your big tailback, Steven Jackson. He's going to follow his young offensive line into the end zone. Falcons tied up 7-7 on a 10-yard run by Steven Jackson. And Fouts had a bruising running back
For 4 yards as we check in with Jenny DAL.
Well, guys, I can tell you when J.J. Watt came to the sideline, he sat down on the bench and started rubbing his right quad quite a bit. He looked to be in somewhat of some distress and some pain. They just rewrapped his left elbow, and I can say that he's taken oxygen multiple times down here. I will keep an eye on him throughout the game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. More live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. Macy's. And by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
7-yard gain for Murray.
Well, this is what's happened with Watt so far today. That's his only tackle. Early in the game, he's going to see a lot of double teams throughout the day. He was held, and now he's delivering a message to Tony Romo. And he took his helmet off to make sure that Romo hurt him.
Combine all these numbers: sacks, interceptions, passes, defense since 2012. Watt's the leader in the NFL.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL, and by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at kbb.com.
Harold Morris with 1:07 left picked off E.J. Manuel. So that'll do it for this first half. A 3-0 lead for the Dallas Cowboys. Two teams that are 3-1, leading their respective divisions. And the battle of the Lone Star State has been quiet offensively. As we send it downstairs to Jenny Dell.
Coach, are you surprised that you haven't been able to score any points generating that much offense?
It's ridiculous. We need to play better on offense. Our defense is playing well. We got to find a way to move the ball, and we're hurting ourselves with penalties and turnovers. We got to do better than that.
Good luck in there.
All right, Jenny, very honest and direct. Bill O'Brien. The Houston Texans trailing the Dallas Cowboys 3-0. We'll come back to Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Coach, what words did you use to motivate this team at the half?
Well, we just have to keep banging away. We've done some good things in all three phases. Got to take care of the ball better on offense when we get down in that red zone, and it's one play at a time. That's what we got to do.
Good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
All right, back here in the broadcast booth, Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. If you're Dallas, yeah, only 3 points on the board, but can Garrett and the coaching staff feel encouraged that they had long drives and at some point they'll be able to bust through against this Houston D?
Yeah, this is a pitcher's duel, but the pitchers aren't doing it. It's the defense that's doing it on both sides. But yeah, Dallas gets the ball to start the second half. That's huge because they had a lot of momentum at the end of the first half. But the defense of the Texans keeping them out of the end zone, absolutely huge.
And that's been a huge key for Houston this season. In the Texans' 3 wins, they have forced 2 or more turnovers in each of those games. They've already forced 2 against Dallas here today. Cowboys will have the football first. Bullock on the kickoff, and it's over the head of Harris. Cowboys will have it at the 20-yard line. First half numbers: 165 total yards for the Cowboys. Houston held to 86. Time of possession in favor of Dallas as well. And they've got a 3-0 lead as we start this third quarter.
And 2 takeaways for the Texans has been big for them in the first half as their defense has been tested, and they've been up to it. 2 yards. That one fumble, though, was absolutely critical 4 times now. But this type of company that he's attempting to keep is awesome.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
It was not a half to remember on offense for Houston. 4 first downs. They punted 4 times, 4 penalties. 5-yard pickup brought down by Carr. Well, first team to call themselves the Texans were in 1952. The Dallas Texans, a member of the NFL's National Conference. That team went 1-11. This is video from their lone win. It came against the Chicago Bears. The team folded after just the 1 year. The Texans were established again in 1960, but it was a different franchise, a member of the American Football League. And 3 years later, they moved to Kansas City, became the Chiefs. Throw it to DeMarco Murray, who picks up 5 as we send it to Jenny Dell.
Well, Ian, this month means something really special to Brandon Carr. On July 30th of this year, his mother, Kathy, passed away after an 8-year battle with breast cancer. She was just 59 years old. He spent most of training camp by his mother's side and said it really put life into perspective and got him closer with his father, John, who is actually in attendance here today. His father was originally going to leave on Thursday, and he said, you know what, Dad, I need you to be here. So along with the cleats and the gloves and the scarf and everything that he's wearing pink, he also wears a silver bracelet that belonged to his mother, Kathy, on his wrist every day, and he said it brings him closer to her every single day he's here.
All right, Jenny, thanks very much.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by all the Old Spice products, which you should use all over your body. And by Universal Pictures' Dracula Untold, in theaters and IMAX Friday.
Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife here in North Texas, AT&T Stadium. 3 points scored in the first half, and now in this third quarter, an explosion. 2 touchdowns, one from Houston, one from Dallas. Terrence Williams already with 5 touchdowns this season, matching his total from his rookie year. Second-year wideout from Baylor. Big playability, and he comes through for Tony Romo, avoiding the sack of J.J. Watt and keeping the play alive. Today update. Let's go to JB and Boomer.
Tony Gonzalez sang the praises of this guy. He did. Anton Smith doing his best imitation of Lionel Little trained James there, Danny Fouts. He's going to go 74 yards after a missed tackle by Antrell Roll. Where are the rest of the Giant defenders? Nowhere to be found. Falcons take a 10-point lead, 20-10 over the Giants.
Fouts appreciates those dust-offs. Ian and Dan and Jenny.
Thursday, your football week starts here when the Colts take on the Texans, a key AFC South primetime matchup. It's Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. Well, for Houston and Indianapolis, since 2002, numbers very much in favor of Indy. That was Peyton Manning who dominated that series for so many years. But Houston won a couple of division titles back-to-back. And the Colts have been one of the most consistent franchises in the NFL over the last 12-plus seasons. Week 5 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Subway Restaurants. Get to Subway for the Meatball Marinara, the $5 footlong of October.
Coming up tomorrow on NCIS, Los Angeles, LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell star in a new episode you won't want to miss. NCIS, Los Angeles on its new night and time, tomorrow at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. Ryan Fitzpatrick just hoping for another opportunity. Coming up next, the NFL on CBS rolls on when the Chiefs face the 49ers or the Jets take on the Chargers. Check your local listings. Second half of our doubleheader, the NFL on CBS. 1:59 to play. The Cowboys had the ball for 29 seconds on that last drive, and now the Texans take over down by 7.
You start thinking about Dan Bailey's range. Career long this year, or career long is 53, as long this year, just 51. He has hit 30 in a row.
He knocks it through. The Cowboys win in overtime. 20-17 over the Texans. Bragging rights belong to Dallas.
Perfect snap, the hold, right down the middle. What a job by the Cowboys bouncing back after Houston grabbed all the momentum. But to have the awareness and leadership of a quarterback like Tony Romo, knowing what his weapons are, getting a big play from a guy that makes big plays for you, Des Bryant.
And it's Dan Bailey converting from 49 yards away for Bill O'Brien. Heartache. His team fought and battled at the end of regulation to tie the game up. Dallas had an opportunity to win it in regulation, but it's the Cowboys, a winner 20-17 in overtime. Let's send it to New York and JB.
Dallas 4-1 for the first time since 2008. Let's take you to Baltimore at Indy. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, and Brad Johansson.
You may want to go after no timeouts. 4th and 3. got him.
He sure does, looking for Smith, and tipped away by Toller. Oh, what a play! On downs it goes back to the Colts with a big-time defensive play by Greg Toller from Hyattsville, Maryland.
Well, they got the matchup that they wanted, and a little bit better throw here by Joe Flacco. Torrey Smith actually has to slow up just a tad, and it's enough for Toller to be able to make a play.
Just by the skin of his nail.
Well, they got the matchup that they wanted.
This is it, victory formation. 4 turnovers for the Colts, 3 turnovers for the Ravens. Baltimore's 3-game winning